Good morning. Hello, whenever you may be watching this. Good day, good evening. It's morning for me, 7 o'clock. It is Friday, October 16th, 2020. And I'm looking a little bit more together this morning, maybe. I don't know. I certainly yesterday was that was an interesting recording because I had just come off of my disaster of a fiasco of trying to take a shower, and just wanted to, I guess, capture my frustration of what that situation was like yesterday. And I was talking to a very good friend of mine yesterday, and she suggested that I get a handheld shower or to install a handheld shower. And I was kind of thinking about that, but for some reason I didn't kind of put it together as something that I could potentially do. In Japan, the bathing system is a very different thing, and the um, handheld shower and bathing is like very much a thing. So I was thinking about, oh, like, wouldn't that be nice if that was something that I had access to? And then I was talking to my friend, and she was just like, well, why don't, I didn't even say it that way. I was just thinking about it, hadn't vocalized it. But when I was talking about my frustrations with taking a shower, she had said, it's not that difficult to install a handheld shower attachment, and looked it up on Amazon, and seems that there are kits that are sold that all you use is just you get this kit and it has everything that's included in it. That's that you can install a handheld shower. So I think that that's something that we're gonna do. Don't know why. I guess it's one of those things, right, where you think only after the fact that you're like, oh yeah, it's so obvious. Like, why didn't I think about that? But I guess to my justification, or to my, I don't know, it's not certainly not to my credit, but I've had a lot on my mind and thinking about a lot of different things to have to sort out. So I guess my mind hadn't quite gone to let's solve the shower problem, apart from I'll get wipes. It wouldn't have solved my how to wash my hair more efficiently problem. But anyway, so that's where I'm at with the shower situation. In the next little while, I think what we'll do is get the shower head attachment kit and install it, and I'll let you know how that goes, or maybe even film it. Who knows? Yesterday was Thursday. I had the nursing clinic, and but before going to the nursing clinic, we went to pick up the air conditioning unit that I had spoken about with the other person that I was talking to on Kijiji. He was lovely. My husband actually did my husband Joe, of course, he did the entire interaction and all that kind of stuff, and everything is great, and we've installed it. I slept great. It's not too loud. It does have like this sort of like the quiet function, and it's not whisper quiet or anything like that, but it also isn't it doesn't sound like an earthquake, or it doesn't, it's actually quite quiet for an air conditioning unit, and works very well. So I think it was a worthwhile purchase, and yeah, so I feel like I slept really well. I slept pretty much straight through. Didn't have a need to feel like, oh no, it's too hot, I have to go try to find another place to sleep or anything like that, which is always a bit of a disruption to my sleep. So I was able to sleep through the night, which is always something that I appreciate and feel good about the next morning. So that's where I am this morning with rest. Yeah, so I've been noticing that I do get really quite tired by the end of the day, and watching these baseball games that go until like 11:30, maybe even midnight. I don't know how long the National League game went to last night because it started at 8:40, so that's a late start anyway. So Eastern Standard Time, so it probably went to like 11:30, something like that. Just can't make it through the entire game, or I could, but just get more and more and more tired. It's almost like as the minutes go on, and a kind of tired that is unusual for me. It's almost like hitting a wall, and if I don't go to sleep, if I don't go and get rest, it's just almost like the wall keeps like pushing me back or something like that. Like I've hit the wall, and if I'm like, oh no, I'll just watch another inning, or oh no, it's only going to be a few more minutes, or whatever it is, it's like the wall starts pushing in on me. And if you ever hit the wall, I've physically hit the wall before. No, that's I have not physically hit a wall before, but I have physically had the experience of my body just going enough. I'm not going to do anything more anymore. So that's what I mean by hitting the wall. During a long distance cycling event that I participated in back in the early 2000s. And I'll talk about that at some point, I think. And that's one of the things actually I wanted to mention in this video today, because I'm still recording these videos in somewhat of a vacuum. I'm still in the process of having conversations with people that I feel like I need to have conversations with, or to let them know, either to have conversations with them or to notify them that I am exiting my practice, or like wrapping certain things up as a result of my health. And just on the off chance that someone might come across these videos before I have conversations with them, I just have not started posting them yet. So I have this backlog of videos that are going to be posted probably in the next week, but there's like 3 weeks worth of these videos. So right now, apart from having mentioned it to a few people and maybe shown it to a couple of people, these videos are being recorded in a vacuum. So I haven't really been talking to you because I don't know who's watching. But if you are watching and you're interested in learning more about me, or have questions for me, or if you'd be interested in learning about sort of like my background or different things about me, is that something that you're interested in me talking about? Certain things that were maybe formative for me, or different parts of my personality or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. If any of those things are something that may be of interest, like maybe I can do a Q&A type thing, or an ask me anything type thing. I don't know. Again, if that's of interest to you at all. So I'll just throw that out there, because it'd be interesting to see like what that response would be like. So that's maybe something to come in the future. What else happened yesterday? We picked up the air conditioner, installed it, great, had a great sleep, like I mentioned. Friends of ours from Australia sent a beautiful bouquet of flowers. It's firstly, like I'm so grateful that someone or people are across somewhere on the other side of the world are thinking about us, and the fact that it's possible to have like a physical thing from folks that are in a different continent, to show that they are thinking about us is a pretty amazing thing. It's a beautiful flower bouquet that arrived yesterday. I actually posted it on my Instagram account. Again, it will probably be from a few weeks ago, but I have two Instagram accounts that I just decided to start like posting whatever pictures that kind of strike my fancy. One is lifestuff_101, which used to be my podcast Instagram, but I think I'll probably start posting stuff about this YouTube video there more and more. And again, like whatever strikes my fancy. And the other one is more just like personal things that I find visually interesting or just something that I want to comment on. And that Instagram account is Mio Yokoi. That's one word, MIOYOKOI. That Instagram account, you will find the picture of the bouquet of flowers that I had received this week. So it would be October 15th is when I had posted that one. So apart from that, today's a puttering around day. I have some conversations that I'll be having, as well as hoping to have enough energy to just make some headway into some of the stuff that I would like to get done around here, around the house. The nurse's clinic yesterday, it was a little bit of a surprise. I had thought that there were two people who generally were the nurses who run the nursing clinic. There was another person that I had never met before, so I've been there 3 times and I've met 3 different people. The person yesterday didn't, I didn't get her name. And I had a difficult time. She didn't introduce herself, and I didn't ask, and I couldn't see her name tag, so I didn't know her name, and because she was very businesslike, she kind of started right away, and she cleaned up my dressing, and I asked her whether or not if there were certain things that I could do maybe at home to clean up if I started leaking again, and so she kind of helped me with that. But she taped me up, I feel like, in such a way with the tube that the tube is kind of tense, or there's a tension on the tube, and I feel like there is a little bit of discomfort that I'm experiencing as a result of sort of the tautness of, there's like, it doesn't feel like there's a give between the tube and the insertion point. So it just feels like every so often there's like a bit of a pull to it that is uncomfortable. I think that's what it is. I have another nurse's clinic on Monday, and hopefully this bit of discomfort is something that I can manage until then. But she really helped me out in the sense that if I do start leaking again, I have some change of dressing. There's apparently like layers of stuff going on, because there is, for all intents and purposes, there's an open wound there where the tube goes into the body, and she's like, well, this isn't going to completely heal while the tube is there. So just to, and if it does leak, then here's some things that you can do to replace the dressing. So I have that, at least, instead of like having to just be like, oh no, I hope I don't get an infection while I'm waiting to go to the nurse's clinic to get this cleaned up. So a little uncomfortable. I think I might be a little bit uncomfortable for the weekend, but I also have some options in terms of like cleaning myself up if I find that there is some leakage that's happening. So that, I think, is it. My plan is, and maybe later on, Joe and I may go grocery shopping. Meal planning has been just like this completely out of the window thing. Joe doesn't cook at all, and I have not had a lot of energy to be able to cook, or I get like this spurt of energy and think that I have the kind of energy that I'm used to having, and then I'll start cooking, and then by the time I'm done, I'm completely wiped. So I still have to figure out how my energy expenditure works now. And so the meal planning has just been a little bit up and down. It's something that we got to figure out. I don't know. I'm just curious to know for those folks who've gotten those meal kits where they bring all or they send you all the ingredients of the recipe. I wonder if somebody who doesn't know how to cook can actually cook with that stuff, with those services. Excuse me. And if somebody out there has experience with that, I'd be interested in hearing. Joe, it's so fascinating to me in so many different ways because he could be so meticulous and very specific when it comes to art, his illustrations, about his eye, like when he's looking at certain things, and yet completely not about detail about other things, like totally the complete opposite. And to me, it's so fascinating that he could be so meticulous about certain things and then completely not about other things. It's hilarious to me. But that's part of the beauty of Joe. And he's one of the things that he's not meticulous about at all is cooking. It's like he doesn't think about it as this process. He doesn't think about it as this almost, I would think about it almost as like a piece of art, like if you were creating something on a canvas or even like a sculpture or something, you start out with the raw material and then you layer and you look at it and you shape and all these kinds of things. It's a different way of looking at it, but there is a difference of going through a process and creating art, creating something artistic. I happen to be somebody who believes that food could be art, food preparation or food creation. And I have been very privileged to be able to have like some dishes that are bona fide art, I believe. So it's interesting to me that I guess Joe, his mind can be very creative and artistic, especially when it comes to things that are visual and the things he can visualize and conceptualize, but somehow doesn't translate into other things. Cat going crazy. So anyway, I guess the question is whether like getting one of those like meal prep services might help somebody who doesn't cook. I don't know, a question. If any of you out there might have some experience with that would be great. If you can let me know what your experience has been. So, so the only thing that I was going to mention is that one of the other things, a lot of things to figure out right now is I am having to pack up my office. So I have another month and a half to pack up my office. There is a pretty big armchair, a recliner chair that I would like to bring home. Because at some point I think that it would be helpful or good or, I don't know, comfortable to have here. I'm thinking as things progress with me, I think that it would be just a nice piece. And I think it would, because it's really comfortable recliner, number one, and number two, I think that like if I want to take a rest in the living room or something like that, I've taken naps in that thing before, so I would love to maybe get that, but it just feels like logistically it might be a bit of a nightmare, but that's something we'll figure out. But I do need to go to the office and clear out the things that need to be tossed and things that maybe is possible to sell. I was hoping to do that earlier this week, but Monday, after the whole ordeal with the dressing leaking and all this kind of stuff with my drainage thing being capped off and blah, 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 blah. That was earlier this week. Monday, I was just like, nope, just want to go home and just sulk. It's pretty much, I feel like what I did on Monday. But maybe tomorrow, being Saturday, I'll have an opportunity to just maybe slowly go through some of the things in my office and get those things sorted out and start to get those things organized. I think the more like I'm just able to get things sorted out and figured out and have things done, the less, that they'll sort of occupy my mind and kind of be able to focus on sort of like moving forward into next steps and things. Yeah, especially since next week is a lot of appointments and potentially starting chemo. So, yeah, and then you'll hear all about that as we go along. One of the good things that one of the feedbacks that I keep hearing from people that see me every so often is that they're seeing that my skin color seems to be neutralizing, not so yellow, which is a good thing because we are trying to get the excess bile to be taken out of my body so that I don't have this toxic internal environment and then I can start chemo. So that's a good thing, and I haven't necessarily been feeling better because of it, but I think that I'm learning that there are certain foods that that have an impact on how I feel, and so I have to just be a little bit more diligent about my diet and what I'm eating. So at any rate, another rambling 20 plus minutes, but yeah, that's where I am today. Like I mentioned, if there's any interest at all in like learning, different things about me, maybe my backstory or like things about my personality or anything, my take on things, my take on what it's like to be going through this diagnosis, and at this point, like more of I guess like mentally, like if you have any questions about what that is like, I'll try to answer them. But again, like by the time that if there is any kind of like a Q&A or an Ask Me Anything at some point, there is probably going to be more experiences that I've had at that point down the line. So maybe there'll be more for me to answer. I'd be even open to answering like what it's like to have been a psychotherapist for the last 12 years. Because mental and emotional health is something that I have been passionate about, still am. And if it wasn't for my dedication to working on my mental and emotional health and having been so immersed in it for the last 12 years, I think that this particular experience would have been a completely different thing. It's almost like I had this like prolonged marathon training for this particular race. So that's, one way that I've been looking at it. But if you have any questions about that kind of thing, I'd be happy to answer them as well. Again, if anyone's interested, I don't know if that's a thing at all. So let me know if there is any interest in that kind of thing in the comments down below. Otherwise, that's, I think, it for today. Like, not a whole heck of a lot going on. I think next week is probably more. There's going to be a lot more stuff, but we'll see. Anyway, have a lovely day. I'm sending you love and care. So much love and care. And chef's kisses, because why not? And if you would like to send love and care my way, I would gladly receive them and be grateful for them. But if not, you don't feel like sending me love and care, I get it. But please do love and care for those around you. Let them know that you love and care. And do it all the time, because why not? What's there to lose? So on that note, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon.